At this point, it's time to add the roof to our house. You might use the picture from your original image as a guideline. It does not have to match exactly, but it is worth thinking about what ends of your house would define the slope. Which areas would the roof slope towards? Which ones may be a gable end? I'm going to try to set mine up so that the front of the garage and the front of bedroom 2 here are both gable ends. Let the hips kind of take care of the rest. So in order to see my ceiling, I do want to go to ceiling plan. I've had the best luck putting roofs in using the ceiling plan. Now, one of the things we know is I added a ceiling out here to add some lights to, but currently I can't see it. The way I'm going to fix that is as I scroll down, I should find where it says view range. When I click edit and I look at view depth, I'm going to change this to be unlimited and hit apply. Now that shows up. So I should be able to see that. And this is a great thing to do in this view when I'm trying to put the roof on. Now I will go ahead and click roof. Now because I'm looking at a plan associated with the ground level, it says, are you sure you want to put it on there or do you want to put it on the roof level? And I'm going to say yes to move it to the roof level. However, if I had looked at the roof plan, I wouldn't have been able to see my walls, so I really wouldn't know what to pick. So this is one of those things you have to do. Before you start adding it, I would definitely select your roof type. I'm going to go ahead and do a wood rafter 12-inch asphalt shingle. Here in Colorado, this is very common as to what the roof would likely be. I will also change my overhang to be 2 feet. Also typical in Colorado, actually building code in Colorado. So we've got that. Fascia depth of 10 inches is fine. And now I'm in the part of the tool where I can just click on walls to create the boundary lines. I'm going to do that here and here. Now because I'm going to cover my porch, I really don't need this wall right here. But I'm going to go ahead and click it and you'll see why in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and actually click all the way around first. That's so that I can just click the wall and have it make my joints and do all those great things and make my overhang for me, which that's great. Now I'm going to click over to modify. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab this and move it all the way out to the end of that ceiling. Okay, so I used the clicking to create the line, but now I can just move it. Now, could I have drawn that line separately? I absolutely could have, but I really don't need to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to start to look at what do I want to define my slope. Now, I'm going to click on here and make sure I took that off. That way I'll end up with a gable end there. Same over here. Once I've done those, I'm going to go ahead and click OK to create my roof. Gives me an error. Can't make roof footprint. Go ahead and click cancel to come back. Now, because I've already put the roof on this house, I know exactly where the problem is. But you might have to mess with which ones can you have define a slope and which ones can you not. The one in question actually happens to be this ledge right here, which would have caused me a problem whether it was back here or where it is. So I'm really not saving or losing anything by going ahead and taking that part off. When I accept it now, oh, it still doesn't want to accept my roof footprint. Oh, I think I might have had to get rid of this one as well. That might have been the other one. So that notch here is now no longer defining my slope, and I'm going to accept that. Now I'm getting what I'm expecting to see. Would you like to attach the highlighted walls to the roof? Yes, I want to bring those all the way up to the roof. And so now I have my roof on here. So I'm going to go ahead and open my 3D view and see what my roof looks like. See how realistic or unrealistic it is. So I have my gabled ends where I wanted them. That's fine. The interesting part, though, is back over here. So I've got kind of this odd little thing going on here where I've got the roof coming out and ending with the end of the house, which is fine. But I've also got then this gap here where I actually need to fill that in with wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my ground level. I'm going to go ahead and get a wall tool, switch to my matching exterior wall, which was exterior wood siding on wood, or yep, That's the one that it is. Now I'm going to come out here. I'm going to try to come off here. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm going to go ahead and click and bring this in. Now everything might not quite line up right, but that is okay. I'm going to now, with this highlighted, switch over to my ground level view so that I can see exactly where I ended up with this wall. Actually going to move it so that it ends where my roof ends. I'm also going to bring this out so that it ends again where the roof ends. I'm also looking at my ceiling right here, and it's not coming all the way out. So I'm going to click Edit Boundary, and I'm going to drag this boundary out also to make sure it touches all the way to the roof. Now when I look at my 3D view, what I've got now is this wall here just kind of hanging out. It's really not what I'm looking for. The roof is attached to all of these walls that are at about 10 feet tall. So I'm actually going to change my base offset to be 10 feet. Should now be way up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to attach its top to the roof. So now I've got, if I kind of look under here, I've got a chunk of wall that closes in this space over my covered porch and doesn't allow any gaps. So it's kind of nicely blended in there. If I look at it in my ground level, I don't see it. So it shouldn't interrupt any of my other drawings, which is great. So as I look at my 3D view, this is what I'm going to go ahead and roll with. I could have done different things. I could have ended up with a covered porch up front if I wanted to. I could have done a lot of different things, but this is the way I'm going to choose to roof this house. It's fairly simple in that when I look at it, the hips, which are really, really expensive to build, while I do have a few that are kind of long, I've kind of minimized as many of those as I could, and I've essentially made this one large flat surface, which is much more common as you'd see on houses. Okay, you'd likely see something like this potentially on a house. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and roll with.